Have you ever asked yourself, is my real estate agent really working for me? It's a question most sellers don't think to ask until it's unfortunately too late. Today, we're diving into a real estate practice that could have a major impact on your home sale, something known as dual representation. And let me tell you this right up front. Other real estate agents are going to hate this video. Why? Because I'm pulling back the curtain on something they'd rather not talk about. But you deserve to know the truth, and I'm here to make sure you get it. So, what is dual representation? It's when one real estate agent represents both the seller and the buyer in the same transaction. At first glance, it might sound simple, maybe even more convenient. But here's the issue. How can one agent serve the best interests of two clients with completely opposite goals? As the seller, your goal is to sell your home for the highest possible price and best possible terms. But the buyer's goal is to get it at the lowest possible price and for the best available terms for them. These objectives couldn't be more diametrically opposed. So how does one agent navigate this without creating a conflict of interest? And more importantly, whose best interests are they really prioritizing? Now, this is where fiduciary duties and the code of ethics come into play, and these are critical for you to understand. Under Article 1 of the Realtor Code of Ethics, agents are required to protect and promote the interests of their client, and that means you, and to deal honestly and fairly with all parties in the transaction. A fiduciary duty is a legal obligation that your agent has to act in your best interest at all times. Now, let me ask you this. How can an agent be fully loyal to you while trying to get the best deal for the buyer at the same time? It's a question worth considering, right? In my experience, having sat on the county's ethics committees for over 10 years, I've routinely seen cases where sellers felt that their agent violated Article 1, the very article that says their agent must protect and promote their interests. In many of these cases, dual representation played a major role. When an agent represents both sides, it creates a situation where the seller often feels their agent isn't fully fighting for them. And it's no surprise why. When one agent stands to make a larger commission by closing the deal for both parties, their judgment can become compromised. They might not push as hard as they should for your best price because they don't want to risk losing the deal. Now, in these situations of dual representation, whose side is the agent really on? Maybe not yours. It's these kinds of situations that can leave sellers frustrated and often feeling underrepresented. When an agent's commission depends on getting both parties to agree, their judgment can be influenced by wanting to close that deal quickly rather than negotiating the best deal for you. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Is this even legal? Well, here's the thing. Many states don't allow dual representation, but unfortunately here in California, it is legal. Now, that doesn't mean it's always in your best interest, though. In fact, in California, dual representation requires the informed consent of both the buyer and the seller. That means you should fully understand what you're agreeing to before signing any contracts. If your agent doesn't bring this up proactively, that's a huge red flag. So, how do you protect yourself? Here are a few key questions you should ask your agent to make sure they're fully representing you. First, who will you represent in this transaction? Make sure your agent is crystal clear about their role. Perhaps just ask them if they're comfortable representing both sides, or what happens if there's a conflict of interest. Another one, how will you make sure I get the best possible price and terms? By asking these questions up front, you'll be in a much better position to know if your agent is truly working for you or if they're juggling multiple priorities. In my 20 years of real estate experience, I've always made it my mission to put my clients' needs first. I believe every seller deserves an agent who is 100% focused on getting you the best deal, not someone trying to balance competing interests. Dual representation is not something I recommend, and it's certainly not something I practice. Here's the bottom line. You need an agent who is completely in your corner, someone who will fight for you, negotiate hard, and always act in your best interest. That's exactly what our team guarantees with all our clients, and your agent should do the same. If you're thinking about selling your home, make sure you have an agent who is solely focused on you. And if you've got any questions about how to make sure you're fully protected, reach out. I'm here to help. And don't forget to grab my free PDF for home sellers. It's packed with crucial steps to ensure you get the most out of your home sale and avoid costly mistakes. Trust me, you'll want to check it out. I'll put it down in the link below.
Hey guys, for more content similar to this, smash that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.